Collecting the bounty always seems so much less stressful when you've killed everybody beforehand. You know, no one's coming to get you. No one's going to start throwing Molotovs through the windows. Life doesn't seem so bad. So, here's a question that I didn't expect myself to be asking. Is the crossbow OP or not? Because whenever it gets used against me, I want to call it OP. For obvious reasons. But in the past, whenever I used it, I found it so impossible to land a shot. I just thought it was a waste of a slot. You know? There was one time I remember I managed to nail someone in the spine when they were running away. But that was like a year ago. And sure, I haven't used the crossbow that much since, but I had no faith in it. And whenever I had teammates who had a crossbow, somehow they didn't really pull their weight. So it didn't really fill me with any confidence. But today that changed. If you hip fire with it, suddenly it becomes a really good weapon. Even at a fair distance, that hip fire is pretty reliable. And it does so much damage that if you hit, unless you really get screwed by the limbs, you're probably going to kill. One piece of advice I would definitely give to everyone is if you're fighting from inside a building and you're the people defending and the attackers are outside, when you get the chance, properly check all the entrances and exits. And that sounds obvious, but what I mean by that is don't just think, well, they're going to be coming in through the east, they're going to be coming in through the north door or whatever. Check every single angle and work out exactly where that person's beam of a head is going to appear. Because if you know that, it makes it so much easier to capitalize and reduce the effort you have to make to aim correctly. And you'll see that later on in the split. So I think this is a pretty good lesson as well. Don't be so quick to retreat, because the second guy who just shot me, if I wasn't so much of a coward and expecting him to push me, I wouldn't have made this mistake. I heard him start to revive, but I was working on it way too late. If I was slightly faster, I could probably have gotten the drop on him, but by the time I made a move and I realized what was going on, he'd already revived his friend and he was ready to blast me. Okay, here we go. So this is the point I was making about knowing where people would appear. See, I know there's a ladder around here to my, right behind me at this point. I know that ladder exists, and I know the slope I'm looking at here is also an option. And that's why I'm hanging around here, because my teammates are kind of walking around recklessly as if the fight's over. I've got this other guy in the building with me who seems to be aware that there are still enemies. But yeah, I wasn't so sure who we were dealing with by this point, because so much fighting had happened between, all these teams. I wasn't sure if the shotgun twins were still around. Doesn't matter either way. I saw that coming, and that's my point. Know where their heads are going to appear, and you can murder